Today on the channel, we rank the latest Iron Man Marvel Legends wave from my least favorite to my favorite.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another set rankings video. As today we're ranking the brand new Iron Man throwback Toy Biz inspired wave from my least favorite to my favorite. And of course, you're looking for any of these figures and a whole lot more, make sure you're hitting up Big Bad Toy Store. Use the link in the description down below. Support the channel, as I always do say. But you can get those right now from there. These are also hitting Target stores, Entertainment Earth, DJC Collectibles, all the usual places. This wave is starting to hit, and a very nostalgic wave for me, as this is really where I cut my teeth, and a lot of my Iron Man knowledge comes from, whatever limited knowledge that is, comes from the old animated series from the 90s and the toy line. Toy line introduced me to so many classic Iron Man villains that I'd never heard of before, and I'm very excited that this line may continue. Would love like Dread Knight to bring him back out, or was it Dreadnought? Dreadnought, yeah, you know what I mean. You know the guy I'm talking about. Bring him back out. Bring us Blizzard. Of course, they're going to give us more Iron Man costumes. That's the way that does go. We did get like the War Machines of the world already. We got another Iron Man. Was that San Diego Comic-Con exclusive a while back? What is time? What is exclusives, of course, as we do say. But a very, very fun set with a nostalgic packaging. A very fun trip down memory lane for me, unboxing these and seeing some of these characters from the heyday of Iron Man for at least me when I was a little kid. But of course, we know these set rankings by now. We got 6 figures. We start at number 6. Work our way to number 1. Number 1 being my absolute favorite of the wave. And of course, this is going to be my list. So of course, put your list in the comments down below. My list 100% right, your list 100% right. It's about the figure, it's about nostalgia, it's about who you like, it's about all that kind of stuff balled up together to get your list. So without further ado, we better start it off at number 6. And number 6, a very easy selection for me. We're going to Iron Man Model 20. I'm terrible with my Iron Man model numbers. Of course, I know Model 1, I know Model 2, that kind of stuff. But boy, when you get down to 20, getting a little bit out there. And this one, to me, feels like it could be an MCU Iron Man. It doesn't feel classic Toy Biz inspired Iron Man. Once again, that's just my opinion. Doesn't feel as special as the rest of the wave for me. So an easy number 6 right here. But from there, it gets a little bit harder for me to do. And you know, I'm going to go to Count Nefaria. Right here, the old Count himself. I'm going to put him at number 5. I don't really have a history with this character. He wasn't a part of that old school toy line, so he loses a little bit points for that for me as well. And I knew him from like a one time in like the New Mutants or X-Men or something like that reading as a kid. That's all I knew from him. But he is a great villain to have, of course, feuded with the Avengers, feuded with the X-Men, obviously feuded with Iron Man. It makes sense to get him in a Marvel Legends line. I don't know if this was the line necessarily for him, but I'm happy whenever level, let's call him a D-level villain, maybe, gets out there. I'm here for that, and that's where he comes in. But he's coming in at number 5 for me. But now it gets a little bit more difficult right here. And it's a tough one. I think I'm going to go Model 9 here. I'm going to go Model 9 right there. Now, when I think of the Iron Man animated series, I think of that toy line. This is the Iron Man I think of. So I do like that a whole lot. It is not my favorite color scheme, especially all these years later, but it is very nostalgic for me, but just not nostalgic enough to beat this Iron Man, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. So that's coming in at number 4. But speaking of the other Iron Man, he wins just by a head, and that head, of course, is one Charles Bronson, a.k.a. Tony Stark, because I drop it on the floor. That's the way it goes sometimes. But that head really, really brings things home. Love that head. Love it for customs. Love it for different things. And it was a good inclusion here, as we got this very similar figure in the 65th anniversary Iron Man wave, or I should say Avengers wave last year in gray. There's some differences here, but a lot of reuse. But that head really brings it over the top, and it brings it over the top for me enough to put him at the number 3 selection. So Iron Man coming here right close together. But now we're down to the final 2, and I think most people have the same number 1 from this line, and I'm probably the same as everybody else. But I'm putting Whiplash at number 2, putting She-Hulk at number 1. Whiplash, a villain that I first, once again, learned about in this Iron Man toy line back in the day. always nostalgic because of that, and always felt he was a big-time Iron Man villain, which I guess you could say he is. Of course, we remember the Iron Man movie with him in it, Mickey Rourke playing him. How about that? So very cool to get an animated series, comic book, I guess more animated series look at him here. And once again, much like some of the other ones, I'm happy to get some of these guys represented finally in action figure form. Sometimes it's worthy of an update. Sometimes we're getting them for the first time. It's a great time here. So Whiplash coming in very hot here at number 2 for me. Fantastic weapon on him as well. But She-Hulk stole our heart, never let go. It started many years ago, but it's very cool to get a more comic version here, a more animated series version, I guess really at the end of the day is what this is. And very, very nostalgic once again back to the old days. And then seeing her in the cartoon back then, really my first incarnation was She-Hulk. I mean, obviously I knew her, I knew who she was, never read her comic books, anything like that. Once again, the Iron Man comic, or the Iron Man animated series is where I cut my teeth with She-Hulk as well. But very cool to have her in the line. We've had a few other ones. We had the Disney Plus version. We had a gray and a green one that got repainted, part of the Fantastic Four waves back in the day. But to me, this is what I think of when I think of She-Hulk, and it's great to finally get that in action figure form after all these years. And I have to imagine out of all these, she's going to be the biggest pickup because she crosses over not just to Iron Man fans, but Hulk fans, MCU fans, things like that. So she is going to be a pickup. I do expect her to be the hardest to get of this bunch. But for me, she's number 1. So quite the list here, quite the group. Can't wait for Series 2 if that is a thing. Maybe we'll find out about that San Diego Comic-Con here in about 2 months. Very excited to see where this line goes and what more other villains we can get out of this line in the future. But, of course, as usual, this is my list. I'm anxious to see your list. Put it in the comments down below. And, of course, you made it this far. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the old notification bell. We got videos every single day and then some. We got even more content for you, of course, over on Patreon, including early access to both YouTube channel videos. Appreciate all the support over there on the old Patreon. You can also support the channel at PresenTees.com. Pick up my book at Amazon and Barnes & Noble, The Complete Guide to the Jakks Class Superstars series. And don't forget social media, SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and on Instagram. So for the latest and greatest Iron Man wave, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.